Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me first greet the wonderful people of the Salisbury constituency. The wonderful people of Salisbury, Monrachet, and Colby Street. Let me also greet my colleague candidates who are here this evening. Let me also recognize Senator Bentley Roy. And let me recognize the next parliamentary representative for the Salisbury constituency, Mr. Nicholls Esprit. And let me greet all the thousands of people who are listening via live broadcast on Kyrie FM, both here and overseas. Comrades, friends, I have been looking forward for several months now to this major national meeting in Salisbury. I have come here this evening to say a few things to the people of Salisbury, and I would wish for you to listen to me very carefully. Firstly, I do not buy the notion that Salisbury is an opposition seat. Salisbury is a constituency in Dominica with Dominicans residing there. Dominicans are very wise and intelligent people. They can think for themselves and they know what's in their best interest. In the late 1988, when I made the firm decision to enter electoral politics, many persons suggested to me that I was attempting the near impossible because Vickers was an opposition seat. Labour had not won the Vickers seat since 1975, and it was suggested to me that I was being overly ambitious and overly optimistic to believe that like little Goliath, David, I could slay Goliath. It was my view then in Vickers, and it is my contention tonight in Salisbury, that David can and will slay Goliath on December 8th, 2014. Voters in this constituency may like the United Workers' Party, but I do not believe they like the UWP more than they like themselves. I do not believe they like the Workers' Party more than they like their children, both those growing up and those yet to born. I do not believe that a majority of voters in this constituency like the UWP more than they like Dominica. That is why I firmly believe that on this occasion, the voters of Salisbury will think long and hard before deciding for whom they will cast their vote on December 8th, 2014. Now, I may be relatively young, but I am nevertheless quite familiar with the history of voting in this constituency. And I know that not too long ago, Salisbury was Labour inclined. I am here to say tonight that whatever drove you away from Labour many years ago is now part of our rich political history. Also, whatever drew you to the United Workers' Party 2 decades ago is also tonight a rich part of our political history. Because neither party tonight is what it was 30 years ago. Labour has been purged and is tonight back on a wholesome progressive track, while UWP has gone way off track, to the point where its very leader is tonight speaking not of UWP, but of Team Dominica. So the same principles that drew you away from Labour 30-odd years ago ought tonight to be the commanding principles that should make you turn away from the United Workers' Party and come back home to Labour. I sat on the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard last Saturday evening and became rather emotional when I heard Nicholls Esprit speaking as a young man, offering himself as a candidate in these elections. In Shanks on Saturday, I did not hear a politician. I heard a young man pleading with his people for a chance to serve them. I heard love, I heard sincerity, I heard passion, and I heard humility. I said to myself on Saturday evening, I must do everything in my power to help that young man win the Salisbury seat. Because I believe he would make an excellent rep in the Parliament of Dominica. I believe very strongly that the communities that make up the Salisbury constituency would never be the same again if this young man Shanks were to be given a chance to serve his people. So ladies and gentlemen, I have not come here this evening simply out of duty. I have come here propelled by a desire to see this young man succeed. For I know if you give him the first term, he would earn several others. By the same token, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to make a statement of fact here this evening. I am often asked, what is my most pleasurable and what is my most difficult task as Prime Minister of this country? But interestingly, I have never been asked, what is my most painful and excruciating responsibility as Prime Minister? But I will tell you, those of you assembled here at Salisbury this evening, what it is. In my 11 years as Prime Minister of this country, there is nothing more painful, nothing more excruciating, nothing more intellectually debilitating, but my having to sit in Parliament ever so often, especially at budget time, and endure the torture of having to listen to the leader of the opposition, the outgoing Member of Parliament, Hector John. I honestly find it more enriching and intellectually stimulating listening to my 11-month-old son Dimitri saying, "Goo goo gaga, gaga goo goo." Than having to listen to Hector John stumbling over the simplest of 4-letter words. Hector John is easily and with distinction the worst and most incoherent speaker in the Parliament of Dominica that Parliament has ever seen. He is an embarrassment to Salisbury and is an embarrassment to the Parliament of Dominica. So if there is one wish I would like to ask the voters of Salisbury, it is to spare me and the entire country the agony and pain of another 5 years of having to listen to Hector John speaking in the Parliament of Dominica. Nothing I have ever done in my life is deserving of such punishment. Indeed, I am told by a friend of Afi Martin that Lennox Linton and Edison James drafted a potential UW cabinet a few days ago. And it was only after it had been sent to a third party for review that they realized Spags John had been forgotten. The people of Salisbury, that is how much they think of the usefulness and value of Hector John in the lineup of candidates. So voters of Salisbury, please do us all a favor and spare this country from 5 more years of Hector John. Now, There is something else I want to say to the voters of this constituency this evening. I want you to listen and listen to me carefully. As Barry Salmon said to you on Saturday, hush. Voters of Salisbury, let's make one thing clear here this evening. The Dominica Labour Party is going to win the December 8th general election. The Dominica Labour Party is going to win the December 8th general elections. So let there be no doubt about Labour winning on December 8th. We are going to win the elections on December 8th, 2014 in Dominica. And I'm saying tonight again that we are going to win in a massive and a huge and a big way on December 8th, 2014. So, the decision is yours. Whether you wish to have a PAL rep in government or whether you wish to have a PAL rep in opposition. Because Labour is going to win. And there is no doubt about Labour going to win on December 8th. And I'm saying to the people of Salisbury, don't tell me that nonsense about Shanks is a good man, but you are UWP. In Dominica tonight, not even Lennox Linton is UWP. He inherited a party from Edison James, and the first thing he did was bury the UWP with Edison James. Lennox Linton has made clear he wants nothing to do with UWP. As far as he's concerned, the UWP is dead and its bones were interred with Edison James. He is tonight the leader of Team Dominica. A party that 1 full week since the calling of elections cannot get off the mark. A party that launched its campaign last evening with 12 candidates at Newtown Savannah. A party that is yet to display any signs of readiness for any election they dared me to call over 6 months ago. They dared me to call election 6 months ago. I call it and they ain't ready yet, ladies and gentlemen. So I want you the next time you see Lennox Linton to tell him that elections was called 1 week ago because it appears that he's not aware. So please, my dear brothers and sisters from Salisbury, please do not tell me tonight that you know Nicholls Esprit is a better candidate, but that you have to vote UWP. That is a copped-out, ladies and gentlemen. That is an excuse which you should not propel. Don't tell me tonight you know Roosevelt Skerrit is a better man to lead Dominica, but you have to vote UWP. I do not buy that, ladies and gentlemen. Do not tell me tonight you know Lennox Linton is an embarrassment as a prime ministerial candidate, but yet you have to vote for his party. That is almost a treason, ladies and gentlemen. This is almost treasonous to tell me. If you know Lennox Linton is not up for the job of prime minister, if you know Nicholls Esprit is the best of the two candidates going up in Salisbury, if you know tonight that Labour is a better party to run this country, stop gambling with the future of this country and vote for the Dominica Labour Party. If tonight you know that Lennox Linton and his group of bungling candidates are not ready to lead, then stop stifling your conscience and get aboard the Labour victory train. This election is not about pride and ego. This election is about doing what is right by Dominica. Dominica needs a government that can deliver. The people of Dominica need a government they can trust. I am saying to the voters of Salisbury this evening, and indeed to the voters sitting on the fence across Dominica tonight, that 1 week after the calling of elections in Dominica is more than enough time for you to have formed an opinion as to who is serious and who is not. If the UWP cannot get its campaign started after a full week of trying, how long after getting elected would it take to get the government of Dominica going? You asked me to call the election. I call the election. And all you have spoken about for the last week is how beautiful Labour Party campaign is. You go on a radio station every morning and all you talk about is about Labour Party's billboards. You go on your platform to speak to your 45 loyal subjects each night, and all you talk about is Labour's campaign. Tell the people why it is that you cannot get your campaign going 1 full week after the calling of the elections. Tell the people why only 12 of your candidates showed up at the Savannah last Sunday evening. I am launching Labour's manifesto tomorrow evening in the Valley. Lennox Linton, when you go on your radio station tomorrow morning, stop worrying about my billboards and tell the people when you will launch your manifesto. Tell them how you will finance the bogus projects you are proposing. Explain to them how it is that you did not know the 5% that had been reinstated to the public officers. 8 years ago, Labour Party reinstated the 5%, and Lennox Linton did not know that. I asked the question at Cassie Bruce, and I'm asking again tonight. How much more must Lennox Linton do and say to convince persons in this country that he is not suited for the post of Prime Minister? I am not saying you must like Roosevelt Skerrit. I am not even saying you must like the Dominica Labour Party. I am saying to you that you must do what is right for Dominica and by Dominica. If the opposition in Dominica is tonight not ready to govern, voters in this country must acknowledge that solemn, solitary fact and move on. Stop living in hope. Stop trying to force the issue. UWP is not ready to run this country. So my dear people of Salisbury, the message to you tonight is clear. Hector John has been a monumental failure. He has failed as a PAL rep. He has embarrassed us all as leader of the opposition. He was the leader of the opposition, and they went outside of Parliament and brought up an unschooled, untrained, untried individual to lead the party into the elections. What does this tell you about Hector John and what they think of Hector John? Don't forget, you in Salisbury, that they removed Hector John as the deputy political leader because he said he was going to study. He was going to study Jigjoli, Pakali study. So tonight I urge voters of Salisbury not to stifle your conscience in this election. The UWP does not have the better candidates. It does not have the better program. It does not have the better vision for Dominica. Furthermore, I say here tonight, the UWP does not have the better prime ministerial candidate, and it certainly does not have the better team of candidates. So why would you want to vote UWP in this election? Nicholls Esprit is a good man. Nicholls Esprit is a genuine man. Nicholls Esprit is a competent man. And Nicholls Esprit is a deserving man to be in Parliament of Dominica. I am saying to the people of Salisbury, I want Nicholls Esprit in my government. I want him to be among the elected poll reps on the morning of December 9th, 2014. I want Salisbury to come to Labour. You have rejected Labour repeatedly, but Labour has embraced you consistently. We have serviced this constituency in spite of your continuous rejection. Tonight I say to the voters of this constituency, come off the fence and come home to Labour. Tonight I say to undecided voters in Dominica, stop wishing and hoping. The UWP is not up to the mark this time around. Edison James made a colossal error when he sent a novice to do the job of a skilled technician. The UWP cannot start wrong and end right. It needs at least another 10 years to get the act together. Tonight I say to undecided voters of Dominica, come to Trafalgar tomorrow evening for the launch of our manifesto. Tune into the Kyrie FM tomorrow morning at 11:20 and follow the premier launch of the manifesto at the Dominica State College. We are doing things different this election, my brothers and sisters. We are unveiling the manifesto at the State College tomorrow morning before the next generation of Dominicans. We are sharing its contents with civil society. 1 week after the calling of general elections, there is only one boxer in the ring. Only one party has shown up for work, and that is the Dominica Labour Party. I say to undecided voters tonight, come off the fence and come home to Labour. Your vote for Labour is a vote for Dominica, a vote for the future of this country, a vote for the children of Dominica. I say to the voters of Salisbury tonight, don't stifle your conscience. Vote for a better candidate. Vote for a better leader. Vote for the only realistic social and economic development plan for Dominica. Vote for a better party. I urge voters of Salisbury tonight, vote for Nicholls Esprit and strengthen my hand in government. I want to say to Bentley Royer, I appreciated your 5 years of service to this constituency. Your sterling contributions in Parliament, your excellent contributions in Parliament, your firm representation to the constituency, even if you were not elected, your undying love and commitment to the people of this constituency will not go unnoticed. I will say to you, as long as I am Prime Minister of Dominica, Bentley Royer, you will be okay. I shall take care of you and ensure that you have a stake in this government. Because I appreciate the sacrifice which you made for your people here in Salisbury. That's what Labour is about. Every single candidate of Labour is making a personal and family sacrifice to come forward to make themselves available for this country. So I'm saying to you, Tolo, I'm at your back. I am there with you, as I know you have been there with me. I want to say to the Salisbury constituents that this vote is crucial. That is between yourself and your conscience. This is not about Workers' Party. This is about the future of Dominica. This is the time for you to put a man who can make you proud and who can truly represent your interests in the parliament. The UWP has raised millions of dollars, and not one bag of cement, not one bag of fertilizer that they have bought for the farmers of this constituency. Not one. How many books Hector John bought for your students here in Salisbury? How many farms has Hector John visited in his 5 years as a member of parliament? And I know for a fact that the workers' supporters are embarrassed by Hector John. They're embarrassed by Hector John. So if you're embarrassed by Hector John, you have an opportunity to send him home and send a hard working man to the parliament to represent your interests for the next 5 years. Because I know with a man like Shanks, a man who cares about people, a man who has not forgotten his struggling background, a man who, recognizing his struggling background, ensured that he educated himself and is helping many of our children educate themselves. So tonight, the Dominica Labour Party family presents to you Shanks, Nicholls Esprit, as the Dominica Labour Party candidate for the December 8th, 2014 elections. And I am saying to you that you have a choice to make. And the choice in this case is very clear. That Labour Party is the party of choice, the party that will continue to transform this country. I want to thank you for listening to me, ladies and gentlemen. And you heard Shanks speak on Saturday. And you heard Shanks speak tonight again. And you can imagine Shanks speaking in Parliament as your member of Parliament. Because you always want to have a member of Parliament you are proud of. But many people who voted Workers' Party here do not even want to say Hector John is their pal rep. So ladies and gentlemen, on December 8th, that is between you and your conscience. If you fail to put in Shanks into the parliament and you return Hector Sparks John to the parliament, you will see the bad side of it, because he has not done anything for anybody here in this constituency. And there is no guarantee that he will do anything good for anybody in the next 5 years. So I have every confidence in the voters of this constituency to vote for Shanks and the Dominica Labour Party on December 8th. Thank you very much.
Vai, mulher.